Here at the Children's Treatment Center, we are excited to be providing you with these presentations in order to help students with development of their fine motor skills and specifically printing handwriting. We know that as caregivers, friends, families, teachers, educational assistants, and other school staff, you are the frontline workers for students struggling with fine motor challenges and the development of legible and functional written output skills. In order to see real change regarding a student's pencil grasp and/or written output skills, it requires early teaching or intervention and daily implementation of strategies and habits. As occupational therapists, we cannot be there every day to work with students. However, we can provide you with the strategies and tools, suggestions for you to help students with this skill development. Hopefully, you will find this resource helpful when working with students. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Pencil Grasp and Positioning for Printing or Writing, Pencil Grips. Again, this is Angela Trache, occupational therapist from the Children's Treatment Center, and I'm hoping to be able to give you a little bit more information about choosing pencil grips and implementing their use. So we'll talk a little bit about choosing a pencil grip if you've decided that you'd like to try one. There are many different kinds of pencil grip styles available on the market today, and new options are often being introduced. Some of them in the next few slides that we're going to talk about, some of them don't necessarily have names that we're very familiar with. Some of them, they have been on the market for a long time, and we've actually used them quite a bit. It's important to consider several factors when trying out a pencil grip. So some students will choose a few styles they prefer, as I had mentioned before, and they could be tried to see if over time they make a difference, as no one style will meet the need for every student. So again, we usually have a kit of many different sorts of pencil grips, and we'll have them try them to find the one that's most comfortable, and also B, the one that assists with correcting their pencil grasp the best. We can always have like the most ideal pencil grasp and using a pencil grip. However, sometimes this isn't the most efficient or comfortable, and so it would be abandoned quickly. So sometimes we don't get the ideal positioning, but sometimes using the grip we can get a better compromise. The following slides will include some of the types of grips and how they can help to correct or improve pencil grasps. Some of the available pencil grip styles will be highlighted as examples. Many of the grips noted on the next slides are available from a variety of retailers. In many different places, we find lots of different kinds of grips and where to get them. And they may have different names, as I had kind of mentioned, but I did provide here below a few of the retail websites that we would normally or regularly go to find more information on pencil grips. The first group are larger diameter options, where it basically makes it easier to hold onto the pencil. It can provide more comfort and can help open up the web space slightly to make your pencil grasp more functional. There are a bunch of different types of even just this kind of grouping of large diameter options. So I wanted to show you just a couple of examples that we use here on occasion. So some of them we have are just gel grips that basically just make the pencil larger diameter. So they all just slip just easily onto the pencil. They're usually soft and cozy, comfy to hold onto, and again, opens up the web space slightly and is more comfortable for those applying a lot of pencil pressure. Some of the other styles, this one here in particular has its own name. It's called the Ego. And so it does obviously give a much larger diameter to hold on to, and it can make it a lot easier for those that are having difficulty with pencil grasp. There are other large foam handles available on the market, and some of the other examples that I also included in the presentation. And then this one here itself is called the butter grip. So again, this is why I wanted to discuss a little bit about the grips, because some of them have names that aren't necessarily obvious. So the butter grip goes on so that the small portion goes towards the lead, the pencil lead, and the larger portion is just above it, and again gives them a little bit of a larger support to hold onto and help open up the web space and make the pencil grasp more functional. And alternatively, there are a lot of mechanical pencils and other pencils on the market, pens that have an integrated grip that is there for comfort, and again to make the pencil a little wider in those areas for it to help with that part of holding the pencil. The next grouping of pencil grips or pencil styles are those that are options with simple positioning for fingers. This style of pencil grip has specific placement for your thumb, index, and middle fingers. They're usually made from hard or soft silicone or rubber-like substance. This type of pencil grip could be beneficial for those students needing separate surfaces to place each of these fingers in order to facilitate a more tripod pencil grasp. There's also several different styles of these types of pencils. So I wanted to go through a little bit again for those. So simply, we do have triangle-shaped ones, which are a little bit less formed, but where they have a surface, again, for each of the fingers in a tripod grasp. So different kind of styles are out there. Some are larger, some are smaller. There's also triangle pencil grips where you can put it on your pencil. Again, you have the possibility of putting a finger on each place. As we discussed in the pros and cons section, some of the risk of these types of pencil grips is that if I am using it to place a finger on each surface, but it also doesn't prevent the student from being able to revert back to their other grasp over top of the grip that's there. So that's the triangle one. There's a couple of other ones that have some funny names. This is a stetro grip. On the stetro grip, there's an arrow that points towards the pencil lead. There is also a star where it says stetro, or there might be similar ones. That's actually where your thumb is going to rest if you're right-handed. So I'm going to put it on the pencil. I am right-handed, so I'm going to put my thumb on the star, and I have the arrow pointed towards my page. And that's how the stetro grip goes. Again, I have different bumps or hills and valleys for my fingers, the way I would rest them. Again, even for on the middle finger where it's a little slightly longer indent, because that's how it'll sit against the side of that finger. This is another example of a triangular one. This one is called the solo grip, where again, I have the narrower part of the grip goes towards the pencil. And so when I put it on the pencil, if you can see, I don't know if you can see the details as much, but there is a little L and an R on each of these spaces, again, indicating where your thumb would be placed. So if I'm right-handed, my thumb goes on the R and my index finger goes on the forward divot. And I can print like that, or I hold it like that. If I am left-handed, I put my thumb on the L and my index finger on that divot on the other side of at the end of the grip, and I'm able to hold my pencil in that way. That's the solo grip. The next one, and also to mention, all of these grips are available in a wide variety of colors, shapes, and forms. So but color-wise is something that's sometimes very important. This grip here is called the Trigo grip. The name on it is very, very difficult to read, so that won't be possible, but I'm going to put it on the pencil. And again, there's a longer divot where my middle finger will rest, and then my thumb goes on one side, my index on the other, and my middle finger on the back, where there's the deeper groove. And that's the Trigo grip. The next one that's more commonly used is called the pencil grip. And not to be confused, the pencil grip is also the name of the company. They make several different styles. So this is the original, the pencil grip. And again, it has a little R at the top, and it has an L at the top, again, for right or left-handed, where your thumb would be placed. And again, the narrower part of the grip actually is the one that is closest to the tip of the pencil. So again, I'm right-handed. I would put my thumb on the R, and my index happens to go on the space that has the L, and I'm able to write that way. As someone that would be left-handed, I would put my thumb where the L is, and my index finger would sit on the R side. So that's the pencil grip. The other one that's from the pencil grip company, but that is also another grip that that helps with positioning the fingers, giving a spot for each finger, is this one here. So it is slightly different, as in it has a little bit of a more winged surface at the end, but this one's called the pinch grip. And so this grip just has a little bit deeper grooves for my fingers to sit in. Again, same concept, the narrower part, if I turn it over, the narrower part of the grip goes towards the lead end, and the wider part is up at the top of the pencil, and I'm putting my thumb where the R is because I'm right-handed, and my index will rest on the L. So the same concept as the other one from the same company, the pencil grip. So this one's called the pinch grip. The next one that we have that also has spots designated for each finger is called the twist and write pencil. So this one is a mechanical pencil that you can get replacement leads for, and it has a very different pencil grasp. So some kids don't really like this one because it is very different than using a regular pencil, because this one with the U shape goes around your index finger. Your index finger rests on the little divot that's there on top. Your thumb rests on the divot on the side there, and your middle finger rests on the other one, so that you are writing like this. It is still considered an efficient pencil grasp because your fingers would be moving. The smaller muscles of your fingers can move to operate the pencil. So pencils like this are still another option that would be included in this second group, where it's options with simple positionings for your fingers. So the last group of pencil grips that we're going to talk about today, I've divided into the options that have more structure to encourage more proper positioning of your fingers and to encourage tucking in your little ring fingers into the palm. They have more complex features on them. So these are also made of silicone, most often rubber, other materials, there are some cloth or textile options that we'll look at. These grips can be useful for most students that alternate their pencil grip often, or their pencil grasp is very closed with all their fingers, some with their fingers all extended onto the pencil, where they're keeping everything in kind of a fixed position. One of the potential issues with this style of grip is that it may require that you remove your hand from the grip to be able to erase errors, or they may require adult assistance to put them on properly and use them properly, especially at the beginning when they're learning about them. So these include a bunch of grips that some of them we've used more commonly here at the center and our center, and sometimes that aren't, and there are a ton of options. Lots of them I included in the presentation. Some of them we don't have names for them because we've not had them yet, or the names change, or it's different companies that are creating them. So the first one that we'll look at, this is the pointer grip. And this one basically is going on the pencil, and the little sleeve that's there is for your index finger. And so then once you have the index finger positioned well, the other fingers fall into place. Again, they would still need some help to be encouraged to keep their ring and little fingers tucked. The next one we have, I think I'll go with the one that is part of the same company, the pencil grip. And with that one, it has this one that's called the crossover. So the crossover grip looks very similar to the pencil grip and to the pinch grip in its base, which again, you're going to be putting a narrower part of the grip facing the lead or the pencil, or towards the lead or pencil, and the wider part will be at the top. But this one has like a set of wings basically, and the reason that those are there is to prevent you from crossing your fingers over. So basically, again, I'm putting my thumb in the spot that has the R, I'm putting my other fingers under that little wings or the hood or whatever we want to say about them, and it kind of helps position those fingers in a little bit more structured way. With a little bit less movement for the fingers possible. The next one that's very similar is a little bit of a harder plastic. This one's called the Grotto grip. And the Grotto grip has an arrow on it again. It's pointing toward the page. It also has these little wings or hoods or whatever we want to say on it. And it has a little bit sticking out on the other side to make a deeper groove or divot for your middle finger to rest. And again, the same thing. I'm going to put my fingers on each side, and they're not going to be allowed to move and cross over each other if they're using the grip properly. So that's the Grotto pencil grip. The next one we'll look at is called the Start Right. The Start Right has a little star on it, and it goes where the circular portion, the disc that sticks out, that's the part that goes towards the lead of the pencil. And so I'm going to put the grip on the pencil like this, and I'm going to be able to put my fingers on either side, but again, my fingers are prevented from crossing over easily because of this portion that's here in the way. So that's the Start Right pencil grip. Next, we have another one that I don't have a name for. Again, there's many similar styles on the market. It does have an arrow that points towards where the tip of the pencil should be, or the page part towards the page. There are several others on the market too that on this side where you would rest your middle finger. Some of them have silicone pieces that, like a bar that extends, and that part is for your little and ring fingers to hold on to. There's a bunch of different ones that look very similar to this that I did provide pictures for in the presentation. So again, there's a spot for my index finger, a spot for my thumb to actually go in and be held in place, and then just my middle finger here. So this is one of the pencils, when I was talking about it might be a little more difficult because you have to remove to erase. Well, so my eraser ends there. It's really hard to do with the pencil on my fingers. I have to take my fingers out each time I want to erase an error. And if it's difficult to get them to be putting them into there properly, it can be difficult to be using that pencil on a regular basis, that grip. The other thing that will happen with this grip and also with the other grip I want to look at, so this one again is sort of a no-name grip. There's also this one which is called the writing claw or the claw grip. There are a bunch of different sizes of it. This is the medium, sometimes the large, depending on the company. And again, the small is very, very tiny. There is on the caps of these, there is one that says M, which I believe is middle finger, and then there's a T, which is thumb. So I'm going to want to put my thumb in there and my middle finger in the other one. But so I'm going to put it on the pencil like this so that each of these is facing down, and they're basically little cups for each finger. So I'm going to put my thumb in the thumb one, my index in the other one, and my middle finger in the last one. And it's going to, I have no option but to position my fingers like this. So a couple of things that I have seen with this again is where you have to take it off to be able to erase. And the issue with when they go to put it on, often they may go like this to put it on, and that's not going to be helpful either. So it's remembering to place the pencil in the web space before putting it onto the fingertips. The other thing is that these, where they're attached, is a little bit thinner material, and they can break from there, especially when we have kiddos that sometimes like to play with them and stretch them. So this one can be a little problematic that way, but this is the writing claw. I just want to mention, this is the writing claw that I'll use for kids that really have no sense of how to hold the pencil, because it gives you no other option but to hold it properly. So it can be helpful even if we're just using it for a little period of time for them to get the sense of how to hold the pencil pointed towards the page and be able to print. The last style, and I had mentioned that there are some textile ones, is this is a version of a pencil grip. It doesn't seem like a pencil grip, but it actually is. This again can be used with students that are really struggling with tucking in those last two fingers, and really with the sense of how to hold the pencil if they're using a fisted grasp. So this is Ellie the elephant. She has a hole for your index finger, and she has a hole for your thumb. And so basically they put it on like a puppet, and the index finger would go through one hole and the thumb through the other. And so then they have these fingers tucked into the palm because they have to be placed on there, and they can hold the pencil with their index and thumb to be able to write. I will also use this just as an aside for isolating index finger on an iPad for those that might touch the iPad with the other fingers and we're trying to get them to just use one finger at a time. But where it can be problematic, something like this, is it's easy for the child to remove. So if they don't like it because it's changing how they hold their pencil, it can go flying quite easily. So again, this is a textile version of it. This one is called Ellie the elephant. There is also one that's called Handy Herbert, and he has a little bit of fidget on it. So there are some similar styles out there as well.
One final note when choosing a pencil grip to try. Once a preferred pencil grip is established, that you found that corrects the pencil grasp in the best way and is comfortable to use, the ongoing trial of this grip can be helpful to determine its usefulness. As the grip will change the way the pencil is being held and used, potentially being uncomfortable at first, it is recommended that the child tries the new grip at least 10 to 12 times before abandoning its use if it is not helping to improve comfort or legibility for written output. Next steps. It is recommended that you try incorporating the suggestions discussed in this video on a regular basis in all writing environments over a fairly long period of time, and/or refer to other resources available on our website listed here or in our presentation handouts to address any challenges regarding your student or child's pencil grasp and positioning for writing in order to try and improve these skill areas. However, should these suggestions and strategies have been tried with limited success, please contact the school's resource teacher so they can request more information regarding next steps from the SCNEO Kids occupational therapist assigned to the school. I hope this presentation has helped provide more information that will be useful should you choose to try a pencil grip to correct a child or student's pencil grasp. For more information regarding pencil grasp, printing skill development, and other OT areas of concern, please refer to the other video presentations or visit our website for additional resources at the address displayed on the screen or listed in the handouts.